Welcome in, folks, to the Kyle Kirk Show here alongside the Blue Devil head coach. I'm Kyle Dean. Coach Kirk, good to see you again.
Good to see you, Kyle.
Well, we've got a lot to recap. There's been about 6 games since the last time that we talked, including a couple of region contests. Doubleheaders, like we've talked about in the last episode. We have 2 region games per team. So you play them 2 times and then you're done with them basically for the rest of the season. You started a couple weeks ago with Valdosta at home. You're able to gain a split out of that contest.
Yes, and Valdosta's always been a kind of a thorn inside Tift County. We were going in that home first week, to keep us in line for battling for the 2 spot. And we just didn't come out and play competitive ball early. In that first game, we struggled getting the ball across the plate. Couldn't manufacture a lot of runs swinging it. And Valdosta just did a good job. They came with a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of energy. And they jumped on us early, and we tried to scratch and claw back out. We had the bases loaded twice, and twice we hit into double plays. So that kind of hurt. And, we just ended up dropping that first one. Game 2, Joseph Watson took the mound, and Joseph Watson did what he's been doing the last few weeks. He gave up 1 run, which was really a run that shouldn't have been given up. He was a pass ball, moved a runner to second, and then he got a ground ball the next pitch, which if that guy's still at second, he just moves to third, but he ended up scoring the run in time. We were able to get a scratch run across the lake and get 2-1 victory in that one.
That's right, able to split with the Cats. Bart Schumann does a great job. That young team, talking with their play-by-play announcer, Monty Long, and he said they've got 3 freshmen in there, 3 sophomores in there, just a sprinkle full of upperclassmen in that lineup.
Oh, yeah, and they're doing a good job. I mean, they don't play like young guys. They've got a lot of experience. And their pitching, the way they came at us, was very different from what we've seen. They have a different approach, which they've attacked most of the region that way, and it's paid off for them. And almost got them 2 wins against Camden last weekend.
How about that? Well, now at Tift County, after that, when you had a couple non-region games or a non-region game sprinkled in there, I believe you went to Northside and played that one and got a big win there.
Yeah, we played Northside, and everything clicked that day. I was able to get some guys in on the mound that needed some work, and they threw well. And the offense, we squared some balls up. We were able to move around, run the bases well, and we got out of there and with 11-0 victory in 5 innings. So it was good. It was good for the kids, good energy. A lot of guys got some playing time, so it was fun.
After that one, you went to Brunswick. That's always a tough trip to make, and you had to go over there on a Friday. You get a split, and that's the coaching side. You're like, man, I wish we needed those 2 sweeps, because you gave Valdosta their first victory of the region season, and Brunswick able to get their first region victory.
So that was disappointing, and that's kind of been our MO so far this year, kind of up and down. We got rained out on Friday, so we had to get up Saturday morning and head down that way. And I talked with the kids before we even prepared. As far as talent-wise, Coach Oddie does a good job, but we were better than they were on paper. But you go down there and you got a different atmosphere you're dealing with, ballpark location, the sand gnats, the red bugs. So, kids getting in. You basically down there, it's just the mental aspect of the game. We started out with Joseph Watson pitched well once again in game 1. He left the changeup up early. A 3-hole hitter hit a home run. So it's 1-0 going into the 5th. He gets out of a jam in the 5th, and I probably should have pulled him then, ran him back out there another inning. He gave up 2 runs, and then we just couldn't get anything going offensively. We were pretty stagnant. Couldn't generate a lot of runs, couldn't get hit runs, bunts, steals going. Their pitcher just did a great job keeping a false balance. And we just had to regroup for game 2.
And that's one of those things that we've seen Tift County go through this year. You'll have stretches where you just mash the baseball. Other stretches, it's tough to get it out of the infield, it seems like at times.
Yeah. So in game 2, we switched it up a little bit. We went to, I guess you could say, our water bugs, if you want to call them that, our guys that can lay the ball down and run the bases. Blake Walker and Tyler Wall came in, did a good job. Ryan Ross got some quality reps that game and kind of added a spark, and we run ruled them that game.
And it's funny how baseball is, Coach.
It's funny. And Devin and McCray pitched a great game as well. 5 shutout innings, 1 hit, 6 strikeouts, and he had pitched Tuesday against Northside 2 innings as well, and that earned him Region Pitcher of the Week honors.
And that was a guy who had basically lost his spot in the rotation. He went from the 2 to the 3.
Yes.
He became the midweek guy, and that's what you saw as he got some work in the midweek on Tuesday. He's had to come in now because Tate Bullard has had some kind of issue. We saw him in the Valdosta series, didn't play game 2 in that one.
He's kind of nicked up a little bit, which a lot of our guys are. We're trying to get through. It's that point of the season. Some guys have got some tired arms, some legs, and some just aches and pains. We're just trying to push through that and get healthy. Devonair, he kind of figured it out those last 2 weeks, midweek, getting his curveball going, his changeup, and spotting the ball up well. And he did a good job against Brunswick and against Northside on Tuesday, so he's right back in the mix.
And there's one thing about quality baseball teams, Coach. If all you've got is a fastball, they can really sit on that thing and tee off, can't they?
Oh, yeah, definitely. You got to keep them off balance, and you got to spot some balls up.
So we saw in game 2 against Valdosta, you had Wall in there, a couple other guys that had not been playing as much as maybe they're accustomed to, and in Brunswick as well. You talked about what they bring to the table. How does that help your baseball team?
It helps us. We kind of get that from the Valdosta State, the Williams brothers down there, what they do. Not hitting is not an excuse to score runs. If you can get guys on base and you can bunt, you can run, you can generate offense, which is what we kind of did last night in the game we played. Because a lot of times good pitching is going to shut down good hitting, more than likely. You see that in the playoffs all the time. So you have to get guys that can. We don't have to necessarily get the ball out of the infield. Against Valdosta, we scored 2 runs. We never got a ball out of the infield. We were able to get a walk, get a drag down, push a guy over, hit and run. Just get some guys moving, making high school kids feel bunts. It's things that they don't really feel comfortable doing because they feel rushed, kind of push the issue. It's kind of like, I guess you could say it's kind of like Oregon's football offense. You just kind of want to put a fast break on grass, just trying to make some guys make some plays. If they make them, well. And if not, we're still running around the bases, putting some pressure on.
And we saw Valdosta make some mistakes in the game, and I'm sure Brunswick probably made some mistakes in that game too as well. Coach, we're going to come back after this break. We're going to talk about the rest of your schedule. Okay. We're getting to the back end of this season, and you guys want to be positioned for the playoffs. We'll talk about where the Blue Devils stand and much more after this on the Kyle Kirk Show.
Are you in the mood for some amazing food? Well, stop by the Smokehouse, home of the best ribs in the South on 82 and Tifton, and try their new barbecue buffet. The barbecue buffet features their signature smoked chicken, pulled pork, and their famous barbecue beans, all cooked over high-quality blackjack oak. The barbecue buffet is offered daily from 11:30 to 2 and from 5:30 to 8. On Friday and Saturday nights, try the buffet featuring Lake Okeechobee fresh catfish. The Smokehouse is home of certified Angus beef, and they're now in their 26th year. Let them cater your next party. Give them a call at 386-0606.
Back here on the Kyle Kirk Show with head coach of the Blue Devils, Kyle Kirk. I'm Kyle Dean. Coach, a big next couple weeks of baseball. I know you guys have already got April 19th circled on your calendar half 100 times probably when you go to coffee. That's going to really decide whether you're in or whether you're out of this baseball playoffs.
It is, and I kind of had a feeling going in to the season when I looked at that date, I knew we were going to coffee, and that day has another special meaning for me and my family as well. It was going to be a day that we had to mark on the calendar. We had to go down there and take care of business. If you go down there and sweep, you're pretty much the 3 seed, which is pretty good being in the playoffs. Go on the road, you don't have that pressure being at home, which you're playing a number 2 out of another region. It's probably disappointing that they didn't win the region. So we just got to go down there and take care of business. Was able to get a good look at them last week when we were rained out. And we've had some success down there in the past, so that's what we're looking for. It
worked out to where you had 2.5 weeks, basically 2 weeks off between region games. How do you prepare, get the kids mentally ready?
The biggest thing, like last night we played veterans, kind of twerk and get some guys some work and here and there with our offense. And then you just kind of rest, get some guys rested and healthy, which is important right now. We got some guys that are banged up. And, we do some inter-squad, keep them sharp and fresh and just, give them a little bit of downtime, give them just some time just to get away from baseball, just to heal up and, and just get their minds right, because that's probably the biggest thing right now, and it's been in the past, Tift County. Just having confidence in themselves. We've got to get some guys going offensively, defensively on the mound, just getting their mental mindset right so we can go down there and have a successful game 1 against Coffee.
Lowndes and Colquitt both have punched their ticket into the state playoffs. Lowndes has got 1 loss, I believe, or is it backwards?
Lowndes has got 1.
Lowndes has got 1. Colquitt's got 2. We were the other team after they split with Lowndes. We were the team that gave them their first loss, and then Lowndes gave them their second. They've punched their ticket. You got a logjam really after that with Camden. I think they've got 5 wins. Coffee has got 4 wins, I believe, and Tift County also with 4 wins. Just the odd scheduling of this thing makes it to where, if Coffee, they've got, 4 more region games, I think, out there on the schedule. So they've got a little work to do themselves.
They do. They've got to go play a tough Valdosta team this Friday, which is playing well, as we talked about earlier. And, who knows? They could go in there and they got to go to Valdosta as well, which is always a tough task. And we're hoping maybe Valdosta can steal one there. Still, too, we're in great shape. Mm-hmm. Camden has to go and play Colquitt and Lowndes to finish out. And Lowndes and Colquitt, this time of year, you see maybe those guys that have it clinched up, they might kind of pull off the pedal, but they're competing with the region championship.
That's right.
For each other. So, you can see those guys. This is Colquitt's last region series, so they're going to try and go out on a high note with a sweep. And then Lowndes, that puts the pressure back on them that they have to come out and sweep. So, you never want to depend on somebody else to help you in the playoffs because it's backfired. It has on me before. So you're kind of hoping that it works out there, that Camden kind of goes along the way, and then Coffee maybe drops one, and then we can go over there and just play good, relaxed baseball against Coffee and take care of business. But we know we're planning on going to Coffee and trying to win too. That's the ultimate goal. And
the best that we can do is a 3rd seed.
Yes.
That's pretty much set in stone. We sweep out, we win those 2 games, we'll be at 6-6.
Yes.
Coffee would be falling back more than likely to around 6 wins, 5 wins, 4 wins, somewhere in there.
Yes.
And then Camden, if expected, and I know they've got that good pitcher that they threw in game 1 against us, but if expected, they probably finish 5-7. So the 3rd seed's still out there for you guys, and I'm sure you've been emphasizing that to the kids.
And it is, and that's what we're shooting for. Beginning of the year, we set the goal for a region title. Didn't quite work out. We let some games get away from us. So we just got to put our sights on winning that 3, going on the road, being a playoff team. So that's what we're working for. Camden, they're going to fight. They're going to claw. So you can't depend. It's just something that's just out of our hands. We just got to focus on Coffee, take care of business there, and that's going to be tough. I mean, they've always had some good games with TF. Coach Shoup coming in year 1 from Florida State's done a good job with those guys. He's got some guys that can swing it, and Keegan. He's got some guys on the mound, Fender and Spivey, that throw it well. So it's going to be a good 2 games. Hopefully we can get out, start fast, play with some emotion and build off that.
Keegan McGovern, the Trojan baseball player, is just an outstanding player. I believe he's committed to Georgia already. He's the Trojan quarterback as well on the football team. They've also got a pitcher that threw a no-hitter against Camden a couple weeks ago, so they're still high on that too.
Very good. And they're all very good. So if we take care of what we're supposed to do, tiebreakers fall our way. If you go over there and drop one, you got to hope for some help, and then the tiebreakers are still in our favor that way. But you just got to do it. We haven't got a sweep and a doubleheader all year, so it's time for one.
Can you tell us about the tiebreakers, kind of how that works out?
Tiebreaker, go say us and Coffee tie for the 3rd spot. It goes record against playoff teams, so it would go for Lowndes, Colquitt, our record against them. They've been swept by Lowndes and Colquitt, so we would get the tiebreaker since we won 1 against Colquitt. Mm-hmm. If it's still tied after those 2, it goes down to the next playoff team, which could be Camden or so forth. You go record against them, we're 1-1. So, with Coffee being swept out by those 2 teams, maybe Camden being swept out by those 2 teams, us getting the 1 victory against and Moultrie could be the difference between the 3 and the 4, or being out.
Yeah.
So it gets crazy. And then after that, it goes to run differential. Who gives up the most runs in region and then non-region. And then if all that comes out, you flip a coin for a location and go play a mini game somewhere.
Now, should it be a sweep for you guys, but you still manage to wind up with the same record, is it head-to-head first?
Yes, head-to-head first.
So that way, if the Blue Devils sweep, then you're in really good shape going into that last series, which it would, of course, against Coffee. If you sweep that one, more than likely you're in the playoffs. And who knows after that, Coach? I mean, you get in there, and we've seen it out of this Blue Devil team before. 2005, 2009, 2011. We've seen some runs by this Blue Devil team. So
we got to do, when it comes down to it, if you just get in the mix, everything's wide open.
Before you go to Coffee on April 19th, April 17th is a special day for the seniors of the school.
Yep, we're going to send off our 7 seniors. We got Mac Johnson, Ross McClellan, Tyler Wall, Blake Walker, and there's so many. Cole Bennett. I don't want to forget a guy.
I know there's a bunch of them.
There's a ton of them. They're great kids. Tyler Carver, and there's one more out there, and his parents are going to get really mad if I forget. So, I don't have my list right in front of me, so I apologize. But we want to send those guys out on a high note. And they're just great kids. They've been good to Bobby Hughes.
Bobby Hughes.
Hughes, right? Starting short.
3-year starter. 3-year starter.
So you want to send those 7 seniors out on a high note. Senior night. It's going to be against a veterans ball team, which is a very well-coached team and a very good team. And, you know, it's just going to be a special night. It always is for the kids and the families. It could be their last time they ever play on Blue Devil Diamond, so we want to make it memorable for them, a special night.
April 19th, you go to Coffee, but then you got some games on the back end as well to close out your schedule. Mention those.
We've got to go to Georgia College on the 22nd, play Winder-Bear, who is a very well-coached team by Brian Smith. They're actually number 3 in the state in 5A. And then we'll go and play Berrien, Bainbridge, and make up that game with Christian County. So we'll have 5 games. We're going to have to bring some young guys up to help out our pitching. And hopefully all those games are getting us tuned up for a playoff run.
Coach, before we let you go, one final question. What's it going to take out of this Blue Devil squad, parents, coaches, players, to get the job done, win 2 games, or split, get something done where we can get back in the state playoffs again?
Well, we're going to have to come up with a lot of energy, a lot of confidence. And in baseball, that waivers it could go. I mean, I saw a kid last night. He was at the bottom and then squared the ball up, and now he's back to where it is. We've got to get our confidence back. We've got to play Blue Devil baseball like we were at the beginning of the year, playing clean baseball, attacking the strike zone, and just getting in the box and competing. Just compete. Everybody on the outside, the parents and the fans, they should come out and support these kids, cheer them on, be positive. Really be building them up the next 2 weeks, getting them going. Us as a staff, we're going to work that way. Which, sometimes as coaches, you can get in this grind right here, and things aren't going our way. You can turn real negative and real ugly real quick. So you kind of want, if you see these kids out in the community, pat them up, tell them to go get them. Parents, same thing. We're going to do the best we can, and I got a lot of confidence going down there. I'm not going to guarantee 2 wins. I'm not going to go to Joe Namath or anybody, but I got a lot of confidence going there. I think these kids can get it done. They're a good ball team. Well,
Coach, we certainly appreciate you stopping by another time here on the Kyle Kirk Show, and we'll be talking to you real soon, hopefully after 2 wins at Coffee.
That sounds great.
All right. For everyone, thanks for watching here on the Kyle Kirk Show. We'll see you next time.